Hey y'all, this is Ryan Monso, and absolutely no one is here yet. So whatever, let's give some people some time to get in. We're gonna get this moving. There they come. Here comes the people. Hey y'all, this is Ryan Monso, and this is Talking About Them Cougars podcast from GoCoogs.com. Before we get started, here's a little intro for you. Actually, take that back. Kellen Sampson just named Conference Coach of the Year. The All-American, or excuse me, the All-Conference team is announced. Shead, who is the Conference Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. First team is Lipsy from Iowa State, Dickinson, McCullough, and Disu. But number one is your guy, Jamal Shead. And speaking of number one, in your hearts, Gaylen Robinson. Galen, Kelvin just won Big 12 Coach of the Year.
Yep.
Jamal won Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. He got both.
That's the way. Hold on, Ryan. So you think that's enough now in the Raptors? No, it's not. Okay, we'll keep stacking accolades then. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna go to the video now. I want to let you know that Star Pizza is your home for the best freaking pizza in Houston. New York style, Chicago style, whatever you want. 3 locations in Katy, off of Shepherd and 59, and then off Washington Avenue. Since 1976, they've been doing this, and they are so awesome to come on board with us and do this thing.
Hold on, Ryan.
Right
here. Hold on, Ryan. Is that a sponsorship that I hear?
That is a sponsorship for today, probably moving forward, as long as we don't screw it up today, is what I assume. So, Star Pizza, that's on me. It's 100% on me. So, the whole point of this show today was to kind of wrap the regular season up and to talk about Jamal Shead winning Player of the Year. We knew it was coming. We knew Kelvin was going to be the Coach of the Year. We didn't know that Jamal was going to get Defensive Player of the Year. He should. He's 100% should have that. But you know how they kind of try to even that stuff out, or at least they did in the American. Kellen Sampson will be joining us shortly to talk about Kelvin and Jamal and all the other guys.
It's crazy. I was texting Coach Kellen earlier. Wow.
Man. What are your thoughts on Jamal Player of the Year?
What are my thoughts?
Sure.
He's the best player, probably the most important player on the best team in the conference. But I think that if you put him on any team in the conference, it'll be the same. He'd be probably the best player and the most important player. If not most important, then not best, then the most important. What he does for our team as far as setting the tone and getting our guys engaged in his leadership and just holding guys accountable and, and our guys having that respect for him to be the driver of the bus. It's invaluable, and the future is bright for him, super bright for him. But there's nobody more deserving. It's not even a surprise. It would have been more of a surprise if he didn't get it, in my opinion, because he's more than earned all those accolades.
He was actually unanimous on that first team. He's the only first teamer that was unanimous.
The coaches know how hard it is to game plan for a guy who has his team in the palm of his hands like that. The coaches know how invaluable a guy like that is. Like I remember when Bill Self, when he had Devontae Graham, and he was the only point guard that they had, and he was playing 40 minutes a game in Big 12 play. So Bill Self knows what it's like to have a guy, and he's just a winner, flat out winner, man, much deserved. I'm so proud of him. Just from where he started to where he is now, it's been miraculous to witness.
Brad,
and not only what he's done statistically. I mean, that's pretty easy to look at. But the thing that really and truly separates him from everything else is the leadership that he brings and all of the off-book stats that he brings to the table. He creates chaos defensively. He's the guy that you go to when you need a big bucket. I'm incredibly proud to see how he's developed as a player. Because when we needed a spark, he's kind of gone against his natural instinct of being a pure distributor and a pure point guard to adding the ability to be a go-to scorer when the team needs it. It's not like a guy that is just trying to take over a game and trying to get his numbers. He does it because that's exactly what the team asked for. So incredible accomplishment, and it's just a testament to the work that he's put in for his entire life, and then plus how he's really blossomed at the University of Houston.
Ryan, you there, brother?
Yeah, I turned my mic off for a second. There's just very little more that you can say about the guy. All he's done since he got here is win. He was a little kid 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I mean, he just looked like a child, and now you can't doubt the man that he's become. Go ahead.
Absolutely. But Ryan, there's more that can be said.
Okay.
Coach Sampson said that Jamal used to be the turd he was always the turd that floated instead of the turd that sank. That's a good one. Either way, you're shitty. But I mean, hey, at least you're the one that rises to the top, But man, that's crazy. Just witnessing the summer work up close, like watching how serious he takes his craft, man. It just makes me feel good as an observer for somebody to get like what they truly deserve and what they earned. And shout out to Star Pizza. I need to get me a slice when I get back to the H, man. But yeah, shout out. We're
gonna go for Tuesday buffet, all you can eat.
Look out now. Be careful.
Be careful.
Be careful
when they see you.
Be careful shoot. If they pull up my order history, they know what's up.
They know what's up. So this is our very first video edition of Talking About Them Cougars. This is a podcast Townsend and I have been doing for almost 6 years.
Yeah.
With some breaks. But this is our first time to be on video. It's our first time sponsored by Star Pizza. We've been kind of hinting at it for a while, but Star finally realized they are the performance food of Brad Towns. And that this was the natural partnership that had to work. 3 locations, family owned, world famous Tuesday buffet, all you can eat at all locations. Thursday they have wine and pasta specials for people like you, Galen.
See, you brought up what I was going to talk about.
You're going to catch me every Thursday
for Star Pizza. Is that I've been a loyal customer because not only is the pizza delicious, the lasagna is fantastic. Fettuccine Alfredo with rosemary chicken.
It's more than a one-hit wonder.
Oh man, son.
No surprise.
They got delicious garlic bread, roasted garlic also. And let me tell you about them desserts. I've had them all. Ryan can attest.
Hey, Towns is very familiar with the menu. Very familiar.
Never ever trust the taste of a skinny guy because they don't know nothing. If you want to ask somebody about food, make sure they got a lot of extra room on
Got
themselves.
the pelts on the wall. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
you're not gonna ask somebody who ain't never won a basketball game how to win a basketball game. No, you're gonna go to somebody like Kellen Sampson with a huge filled trophy cabinet that just stacks them. That's me when it comes to food.
100%. Which Star Pizza has a buffet? All of them, all three. Katy, Washington, Norfolk, which is Shepherd and 59. All the three.
And Galen, if you need to keep up your training regimen, they've got something for you too. Salad's phenomenal, like salads in a box that you can eat for a couple of days.
Well, how about Towns? How about you take the salads and I'll just get the pizza?
There you go. Now that would be.
You know what I'm saying? That's I could.
See, you're looking out for everybody. Just See, the Godfather's just dishing right there.
Point guard. Yeah. I think, they do all those videos. First off, Star Pizza and Hoop and Holler were the first people to really get NIL at U of H. And It wasn't Lincoln Cougs. It wasn't HOU NIL. It was them. And they got it first. And they started doing funny videos with guys, football and basketball. And they got it first. And they deserve all the credit for that. I think their next video needs to be Towns sitting in a corner with a sad little salad in front of him, weeping.
I wouldn't weep, man. That stuff is good.
I just can't imagine you've ever had a salad in your entire life.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
The thing is, it might just be the appetizer,
Oh, well, we know that. I mean, I probably have a cake underneath the table in there.
Towns dicing up their buffet like Jamal dices up the Big 12.
Time out. You know what I've appreciated.
Well, let me time out you real quick.
Okay, time out the timeouter. Kellen
Sampson,
son,
royalty.
It is always a treat to be with my favorite people.
Your Godfather.
It is an even bigger treat to be on here with the Godfather.
All right, Kellen.
Yes.
Galen. 5 years ago today, y'all beat Cincinnati to win your first conference championship at the University of Houston. 5 years ago today. 7 in 1 day less than 5 years. What the hell are y'all doing?
I'd say we're just doing shit the right way, man. Doing shit the right way.
That's it. You know what? We're doing stuff our way. I think that's the when you know what your formula is and you know what your process is, you can recruit to it. You can get guys to play to it, and you can weed out maybe those that can't do it. And that allows you just to have crazy productive days. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that, G, or no?
Absolutely.
G,
couldn't have said it better myself.
G used to talk about, you can tell within a really short period of time, 1 workout, 2 workouts, no more than a week, if a dude's going to work out or not. If it's going to be too much, if the process is going to be too hard for him. And what we've gotten better and better and better at is identifying those traits before they even get here.
Right.
And now you're just dealing with pieces that you can work with, that you can mold, that you can conform, and now you can, you got a lot of like-minded people. Now you just got to put the team together.
Mm-hmm. What do you do to identify those guys? Like, how you could weed out at a very high level, but then when you get down to it, what are you looking for? The difference between a Galen and maybe another point guard, or Jamal and another?
Well, I think first of all, it's having crazy honesty within you about what your system is. I think it starts there. Okay, what are you looking for in a point guard? Say that particular position. What do they have to be able to do? Okay, and then you're looking for the personality traits. Can they handle coach? Can they understand the weight that's going to be placed on their shoulders and are they capable of being responsible for the group, as it relates to the PG. So there's a physical checklist they've got to be able to handle, and then there's a mental checklist that they've got to be able to handle based off of how we operate and how we, choose to peel our orange. I remember when we were recruiting Jamal, for example, there was another guard within the state who I was kind of tossing and turning whether or not he could do it in the same class. And I saw both of them on the same day. Jamal couldn't have been more uplifting, positive, bopping around in his weight room at 6:30 in the morning in Manor, Texas. And then later that afternoon, I went and saw a kid up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and his body language was awful. His team that day happened to be running the mile. He finished last. He threw an absolute pity party for himself. And then when his team went from the mile to the basketball floor, he didn't say a word. He didn't communicate. He was just he had absolutely zero intangibles. And I thought that kid will never make it here.
Right.
He's got no chance of surviving us. And made it crazy easy to be all in 10 toes on Jamal at the time. That was in the spring of 2018.
So at that point,
spring of 18.
So Jamal's 16 at that time, 15 maybe.
He had when we made the decision to be one. Look, he is the one. We started recruiting Molly when he was 15, and then we made the decision that he was the one when he was 16.
Damn.
And it appears that worked out. Conference Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, unanimous first team, all Big 12. When you heard that, what are you thinking?
It's a damn good year, brother.
Facts.
It's just a, we couldn't, and Galen sat there in many of them. But last year's post-season meeting you have with all your guys, end of your season meeting, and it's you and the coaching staff. It's typically you and coach. And you just recap where you're at, how your year went, but then you recap about where you're at within the program, and then you start to preview what your postseason, off-season, preseason needs to look like for next year's team, and you start to have a really clear picture of where you stand in relation to moving forward. Last year, we could not have been more brutally honest about where we thought Jamal was. And, he had to hear some really hard truths last April. And not that he had a bad year. It was, I think he was second team all conference. We had a good year as a team, blah, blah, blah. But what do we need from Jamal in order for our team to cross the next step as we transition into the Big 12? And it was designed to be an uncomfortable conversation. There were some things that Jamal needed to do. He needed to be in much better shape. Started with that. He had to take his conditioning to another level. He had to embrace that piece of his game because, and Jamal hates to run. Call it what it is.
My man.
He hates to run. He hates conditioning. And he had to hear it. He had to hear that, look, for you to go from where you are to where you want to be and where we need you to be, you can't be in a negative place about it, because then you can't lead. And then that will save you from a lot of knick-knack injuries across the year because your body's ready. I don't know, this whole space that we're in, with the popularity of our program and the attention that we're now getting, I don't think it was brand new. There were times when Molly didn't always handle that well. He had to hear that. And I say all that to say, like, to his credit, he took it the way your captain is supposed to take it, and didn't get in his feelings, didn't get defensive, he had heard it, and then he went and did something about it. And it's gone well. It's gone so well with Jamal in large respect because his mom and dad are awesome.
Yeah.
And they were a big piece to the equation as far as him being able to take the next step, because they've always had our back while being his parents. And that sometimes gets muddy at times, is you choose to be they've always saw both sides of the coin and really helped Jamal.
You have to thread the needle to get a player like him who has a ceiling like his, and the parents that basically have that kind of ceiling too. There's a lot of luck in that, obviously, but I mean, you just got it right. You got it right with Galen. You got it right with him. Where are you at with the next wave of point guards? Perhaps one of the guys you had in yesterday.
Well, I don't think that there's luck when you're targeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a very unlucky process if you do it right. Now, you can't help if they change, I guess, when you get them. But I do think when you're evaluating that position specifically, you've got to be really, really careful about not screwing it up, which means that you better empower them to have crazy ownership when they get here. So you need to target the right person who can embrace and got the wide enough shoulders to handle the weight of being the point guard here. We've had 3 point guards here in 9 years. Galen had it for 4. Dejan Giroux had it for 2. Jamal's now had it for 3. There might be some revolving doors at the other positions, but we have not screwed up that position, and that you better look at the whole situation in its entirety and evaluate it. People in their lives, mom, dad, AAU coach, high school coach, have they done this before? Are they used to leading? Are they used to others counting on them? Do they have an everydayness about them? Are they okay with things may not be your fault, but they are getting ready to be your problem?
Woo! Coach Kale, goddamn, you did. That is exactly right.
And if you don't have, if you're evaluating, they don't have that kind of maturity, man, you gotta be courageous enough to go the other way, regardless of their talent. For our formula to work at point guard, he better be a man among men, and he better have, regardless of his age, he better have the wherewithal to be a leader of men. And if he doesn't, it's okay to get to the next rung talent level if he is. And I don't think it's not an accident that we've had great point guard play here, because we've evaluated the person as well as the player.
Brad?
Well, whenever you're talking about being able to have those difficult conversations with Jamal and with Galen, you seem to be able to do that with the entire team. And you're able to do it every year. We hear a lot about, of course, all the old people are going to say, oh, this generation's soft, this generation's soft. Whether it's true or not, that's the perception. How are you able to be able to have these conversations without things blowing up? Is that from just your identification process, or is that just part of the culture and the training of the players themselves?
At this point, we're blessed in that most people that we start the process with have an understanding of who we are at the outset. If you're sending your young person here, it's because they want to be coached. If you're sending your young person here, that means, hey, look, look, hey man, I know you're excited about Houston and they win and they pack out Fertitta and all that stuff, but understand it's going to be hard. It's a program built on toughness. It's a program built on accountability. And so while there is no way to possibly be prepared for everything before you get here,
Right.
I don't think it's not the first time when it happens. It's not like there hasn't been some pretty good and fair warning.
Right.
And so that helps. And we abide and live by the kind of the adage that, you know, how we coach kids begins with how we recruit them. We don't present a plan or a fairy tale
Right.
that's unrealistic or that's dandelions and strawberries and no, we're pretty upfront and honest that we're going to coach you hard. We're going to believe in you, but we are upfront and really honest that we're going to make you uncomfortable. We're going to push you to a place that you couldn't go yourself, and sometimes that's really difficult. That's really hard.
Very difficult.
And we don't run from that. And I don't think you can have the success or you can do what we do unless you're crazy upfront about it on the front end.
Right.
Because when those hard days come and when they start having that internal reflection, they start questioning, what in the hell am I doing? At least, look, there are reference points to, hey, you know what? We've talked about this. This is what we said it would be, but this is also how we're going to hold the arm in arm, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. And we're not leaving you while you're going through it.
Right.
I do think that's where our staff stability has been awesome. The same messages, you know, I told Galen in the recruiting process, it's the same voice he heard when he played. So it's not like we switched the code up. It's not like all of a sudden they felt ambushed because they got lied to. That helps. You know, it's, you know, we've been intact pretty good here now for 3 years. And then outside of Coach Brooks and McHale leaving, we've been intact for 7 years with Bishop and Bilal and Kiwanis joining us 7 years ago. That helps. I mean, I can't discredit how much that helps get people through that hard day. You know, I told Galen, he said this many times, but, you know, you're having a hard day. That doesn't mean you have to have a hard tomorrow. You know, let's get through this.
Hard days build character.
You know, you can't possibly, we can't truly coach you until you hit rock bottom, though.
Right.
Because until you hit rock bottom, you won't fully surrender.
That's the word, Coach. That's the word right there. Surrender.
Until you hit rock bottom.
Surrender.
To the point that you realize that however which way you're trying to do it isn't our way, that I need to surrender and do it your way. You won't truly have the success that we all see through our eyes. And it's so awesome, and it's such an humbling, and I never take it for granted. When they finally, you can finally feel the surrender. They finally are doing it our way. And for some kids, it happens really early. For some, it takes a while. For some, they're having crazy success, but they still haven't fully surrendered. And so their rock bottom's coming. You know, a great example of that was Rob Gray. Rob was a monster. His first year, and Galen remembers this.
I remember at SMU.
But he had surrendered, and we had to force him to hit rock bottom.
How did you do that?
Well, Coach benched him. We played UConn at home on a Saturday. We're up 10 with about 8 to go, 9 to go, something like that. And Rob single-handedly was UConn's best player the last 10 minutes of the game. Now, he had 16 or 17 for us, but couldn't have been worse. And it was the culmination of he wasn't listening. You know, not communicating switches, turnovers, bad shots, lazy on ball, like just all the stuff that losers do.
Non-intense.
Not like was playing like a man in a phone booth. And we happened to be playing at SMU on a Monday.
That's when they were top 10 in the nation.
They were booming. That Sunday night in Moody Coliseum, Coach emptied the cannon on him. Every 3 minutes, it was Rob, get on the line. 2 minutes, And I didn't think Rob handled it poorly, but then Coach doubled down on it and then didn't play him. 1 second. We lose by 4. And some convention wisdom says, hey, if you play your best player who's totally healthy, maybe you win that one. But the mindset was, I'm okay losing this game so I can win the war.
Win more, exactly. Man.
And, Rob had to hit rock bottom. And part of Rob's rock bottom was realizing that I'm playing for somebody more stubborn than I am. I'm playing for somebody that absolutely forced me to do everything the way he wants me to do it, or he's not going to play me regardless of how talented I am. And I got to my phone that night because none of us knew Rob, he wasn't going to play Rob. It was a total
executive decision.
That was not, he just did it.
The chief.
And I had a missed call from Rob's dad. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. And he just wanted to know what happened. Did Rob do something? Is he hurt? He just wanted, and then when I explained it to him, Rob Gray Sr. told me, tell Coach I said thank you.
Wow.
Because he's the first person in my son's life to coach him and not give in to his talent, but he's choosing to save my son. Don't worry about it. Your guys are good with us.
Wow.
And Rob went on to have a pretty good career.
Pretty decent, if you ask me.
I'd say so.
And Rob never left, never transferred, never talked about leaving, never thought about it. He was just locked in. And I remember Rob's senior night, that embrace Coach and Rob had, because there was true appreciation for everything Coach did in the process. And you loved me when I didn't know what love looked like. And until you have people, that's when you better evaluate the entire situation. And we're blessed at this point that we can, in recruiting, evaluate an entire situation and not just be beholden to talent.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Star Pizza. Just enjoy. Just have fun with it. 3 locations. Buffets on Tuesdays. Kellen, to the outsider that doesn't see practice, that maybe doesn't pay attention all season, it feels like Ced Lath just joined the team 10 days ago. He's been building, but it feels like maybe there's a light switch that's come on for him. Obviously, he has to play more, but what's happening there?
Yeah, so Ced came last Christmas, right? And just it wasn't super experienced about anything. And so we had to get him in shape first. We had to, and then teach him. There's just a lot of teaching going on. But
okay.
What's so cool is, as we were getting ready for Australia, there were drills Ced couldn't even be in because he just screwed it up. And you were spending all of your time, a crazy amount of man hours, just coaching him, and it almost wasn't fair to the group. So it was just easier just to peel Ced off and coach the team. Well, now you fast forward, Ced can do everything. He has a crazy pride about himself, regardless of what went on. He always wanted to be the first one in line. He wanted to be the first one to do everything. And he took every little nugget, every opportunity to be coached, every opportunity he took it to heart. And there's been so many days where he was emotional because he didn't feel like he got better. He didn't feel like he got good enough that day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting this. I'm not grasping it. Let me give Jamal Shead a ton of credit. Ever since we've lost JoJo, every night Jamal's either in his hotel room or in his apartment going over the Ced package. So make sure Ced knows every play. Hollis Price has been a godsend for Ced, and that he's been crazy patient, crazy understanding, but also firm and demanding with Ced in private individual one-on-one sessions. When he works with our big group, Ced has a lot of internal self-pride that he doesn't want to look bad. And when a player has that kind of pride, they can get better in a hurry. And when we lost JoJo, I said at our staff meeting, I said, Ced's going to get better in the next 10 days quicker and faster than he did the previous 10 months because he cares and we need him to. And I kind of text that to Galen today is, in the history of us, everybody is ready when we really need them to. They're always ready. Nobody thought Ramon Walker was ready 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But we needed him. And when you really, really need somebody and they love you as much as you love them, they're not going to let you down. And that's kind of what happened.
That's wild. And good on Jamal for his work.
Well, it seems like it. If we look at it in a short window, Ced's the obvious example for right now, but it seems to be pretty similar with what's gone on with JVA as well. Just watching him, the first time that he stood out to me was that windmill tomahawk at Tulane.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got a really big athletic guy, and all of a sudden he pulls that off. I'm like, there's something there. And then we watch him, and all through last year, I kind of nicknamed him the baby moose, just because he looked like he was all arms and legs and just trying to pull it all together. I didn't recognize him this year the way he played because he's a different kind of character.
Shout out to Galen for that one, by the way. It was COVID. I was Jay and had a couple clandestine operations while recruiting Jay. And I called Galen. I said, man, because Jay was a little upset that we didn't offer him in the time frame that he kind of was expecting an offer, because he's one of those kids that we brought invited to every game. My son's going nuts. Holy smokes. And
I'm just glad that's not coming from anybody else, because I know y'all don't have kids.
Yeah. Allergies have hit Houston.
Oh, yeah.
But so Galen really helped us seal the deal with Jay. Westbury Christian. And I kind of sent Galen over there. Next thing I know, we were a little better standing with that one. But Jay's a guy that it's crazy the amount of basketball he has not played.
Right.
From started the game late, and then he really was only 2 years at Westbury. Then his last year was COVID. And he went to Montverde, and he didn't play. He was just a practice guy for them. And then he comes to us his first year, and man, didn't get a lot of opportunities, just practiced. But I thought the light bulb was really coming on for him last year. Mm-hmm. There just wasn't a pathway for him because of how good Jarris played, how good J1 played. And there was a comfort level that Coach had with Reggie that you just weren't going to give Jay the kind of extended minutes at the expense of Reggie in the big games.
Right.
And that kind of stunted his, Jay was kind of at the point where he's only going to get so good practicing. He needed to play. And the X factor there is just confidence. you can only be so confident if you don't get your game opportunities. And so we had a really difficult decision to make. Not difficult, but it was a decision to say, look, do we feel like Jay's is in, if we throw water and sunshine at Jay, is he going to be enough? Because Jay was not going to stay. We knew that unless it was a clear, obvious, the runway is, to play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay's confidence level wasn't going to cross the bridge until there was no other option. And so if he had to go, if we brought in a grad and just said, look, we'll let him compete for it, Jay wasn't going to be confident enough to win that fight. We needed to jumpstart his confidence with our own belief in him. And I think it started there, that when we didn't grab somebody, I think it put a different level of belief in him. That, man, these guys really rock with me, man. All of that, everything that I've been through there really wasn't a plan in place. He had really good moments behind the scenes that made us really confident in that. He had 3 double-doubles last year. Regardless of the competition, it's double-doubles, it's production. What you're seeing is, we said this, whatever investment we felt like we were going to get a return on investments second semester, whatever we put in him first semester. He was not going to be ready or good enough maybe first semester. But if we rode with him and invested with him and hung in there with him, we're counting that by second semester he will be.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a gamble that obviously has paid off. But Jay earned the right to have that kind of trust. He earned the right to have that benefit of the doubt because of how much better he's gotten. Look at a guy like JoJo, who's played basketball his entire life. His 2 older sisters were hoopers, and JoJo's played a crazy amount. I say this all the time. You can tell when JoJo plays how much tip 21 he's played on the black dot. He's hooped a lot at his grandma's house with all his little cousins. Jay didn't.
Right.
The best compliment I can give Jay is Jay has become a hooper this year. For the first time in his life, he's become a hooper. Somebody puts Simba's on fire. Somebody puts their arm on Jay. He finally has the wherewithal to bat it away. Like, I'm not a punk anymore. I'm not somebody's punching bag. I'm not. I know how to. I can get away with this. Jay doesn't get ducked in anymore. He's finally learned how to be proactive with the nuances and little things of the game, so that his gifts can take over with the big stuff. When was the last time Jay doesn't get over the back fouls anymore? He's realized what rebounds I got a great shot at, and realized, man, you know what? They boxed me out. I need to let them have it. Those are hooper things. And Galen's as quick and fast as anybody, but Galen, through his experience, knows what steals he can get and what steals he can't. And everybody, your process is different. Everybody's the how quickly you can catch up to the timing and speed of the game is your process. We talk about this with bigs all the time. Your process in seeing the game at the right speed, if your shot blocking's there. Bigs who don't process the speed of the game foul.
Right.
They're late. They're crashing down. They're letting guards get into their chest and initiate the contact. Jay was a foul magnet because he wasn't playing in the right speed of the game. Well, this year those fouls are becoming block shots. Guys, bigs who get tips, Galen knows what tips are, but guys who get offensive tips aren't playing in the speed of the game. They become rebounds. Justin Gorham was a great example. Justin's junior year, he was a tipper. His senior year, he was a getter. He finally caught up to the speed of the game. It had almost nothing to do with his physical ability. It was just he mentally was processing the game better. And that's what Jay's doing.
JoJo is a tipper. Brad and I have been talking about this all year. Is just the number of balls that he's gotten to has been unreal, and he's about to become that rebounder. You lost him.
Yes, great.
You used to be the coach of the fours. Now you're the coach of the 4. And you have lost so many guys. It is. I've never seen anything like it. By the way, this is when you see the confidence in JVR. That slam. He erupted after that. What is it? How do you change your approach when you go from 4 really talented guys to just one really old guy?
We're such a developmental based program that it's hard not to be developing somebody right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a big part of my day is slotting out their individual times and where they at in their cycle. Jamal's like a 15-year NBA vet. Just get him to the games right now. So I got a little more time on my hands than I'm typically used to. Just sucks because Terrence Arsenault's last 2 games, he had 19 rebounds.
Yeah.
And it seemed like he was somebody that had touched his rock bottom and now was ready to climb because he had surrendered. He was somebody that was starting to, his rock bottom, he'd surrendered, and now we were starting to fill the rest with confidence. And that he was starting to become a really, really good version of himself, and he was excited about this version of himself. You look at Ramon Walker's last 2 games, he was terrific.
Yeah.
He finally had embraced, I was talking to his dad about it, he had embraced who he is, what my role is, what am I good at. And he was starting to love that version of himself because it was different than it was 2 years ago.
Right.
2 years ago, he knew he was the first guard off the bench, and he was going to be a wing, and that was his gig. Whereas now he was coming in as a backup 4, and he was having to bang and be physical and fight, scrap, claw, and his identity was more rebounding. Whereas 2 years ago, it was all hustle, but he was more of a catch-shoot guy. And so I hate that his process got ended. JoJo's offensive game was emerging. It was there. We were starting to. He was scoring seemingly on every short roll opportunity. Scoring. You look at the Baylor. He catches 2 short rolls. One is a nice left-hand jump hook off the glass. One was a big-time catch. He got to the other side of the rim, and finished. Those are always that. All of that is the product of development, and so when the process gets ended early, it just it's a blow to everything because you don't start where you ended. You got to go back to the beginning, especially with Terrence because he's going to have been out for so long. And JoJo. I mean, both those guys are it's a long process. We're talking 4, 5, 6 months for both of them. So, but we'll do it. We've done it before. We'll put the pieces back together. Galen can attest to this. You're not the same player you were before you got hurt. You're more mature. You're more grateful. You have a different perspective. You've seen the game maybe in a different lens, and those can be really positive experiences.
Definitely. I still remember my biggest issue is my body language, and I wasn't able to fully grasp what coach was telling me until I broke my foot and I was on the sideline on my little scooter having to watch, and then I saw what somebody's body language was like after they made a mistake, and it was just like, damn, is that how I look? And they're like, yeah. So it's just like, obviously, once you see something from a different perspective, you realize the importance of it.
Yes. And a guy like Terrence is I do think this has been awesome for him. He has communicated some of the same things already. But man, I see why y'all are on me, about how I'm carrying and portraying myself. I do think a guy like Joe, he'll appreciate the intensity and the urgency of that we're always asking him to work out with, and the game speed, because there's nothing like March Madness, and the intensity. Every game is a season in itself in a way, and the desperation and the intensity and the urgency. Everybody who plays in the tournament appreciates the moment, and the urgency and the desperation that they bring to those fights is awesome. And once you play in a tournament game, it's a drug. You want it more and more and more and more and more, and it just takes all of your work to another level.
Mm-hmm. We're going to let you get out of here, Kellen, on this first Big 12 title. You won one as a player?
Won one as a player. I had to share my food this time. We
get the whole meal. Yeah,
whole deal.
We see what the players felt about that. How is that with coaches, and especially yesterday in that environment? The environment has been building all year.
Yep.
And you hit a crescendo yesterday that felt next level.
I don't know. I've got a lot of awesome Fertitta moments. It's going to be hard for anybody to ever top yesterday. I tell everybody the loudest I heard Fertitta for the longest was your senior year, Galen. We played LSU.
Oh, yeah. That was rocking. Super.
Man, yesterday was insane. And I feel like I've said that after Iowa State, or I feel like I said that after Texas. It's awesome that our fans keep outdoing themselves. We had an awesome chip on our shoulder all year that drove us and took us to an awesome place that I don't think we had last year. I'm going to be honest with that. I thought last year we were just so much significantly more talented than everybody in the American that it didn't matter. But that's also Marcus's injury too. But that's also why Memphis got us. So they had a chip on their shoulder against us in the conference final, whereas we were already 10 toes deep into the tournament. I think that we fought all year for our seat at the table. And that unified managers, coaches, staff, support staff, everybody this year to chase something awesome together, because you only got one chance. We only got one chance to make a first impression.
Right.
And that's kind of been a rallying cry for us is there's a lot of people who don't think we belong. There's a lot of people who don't think that we can withstand the grind and how grueling the Big 12 schedule is. And so to reach that checkpoint, I think it was pretty satisfying. It had a lot of similar vibes to when we won it for the first time with Galen, truth be told.
Mm-hmm.
You always remember your first one. And the first time that 19 was incredibly satisfying because we knew the ass whippings that we took in Moody,
man,
in Fifth Third Arena,
man, the old one,
and felt
man,
and all those that it took all those scars for us to keep going, to climb the ladder, to get good enough, to have enough of an appreciation for what it looked like. 22 was crazy satisfying because of all the injuries.
Yeah.
Right. This one was on the same shelf. And I think the thing that all three of those had in common was we were crazy tied together, bound together, unified by an outside cause of belief. There's a lot of people that threw dirt on us in 19 because it hadn't been our league. They didn't think we were quite good enough because we hadn't beat SMU or Cincinnati yet. We hadn't done it. And they were right to it was Cincinnati's league until it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they had earned that benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely.
21 was COVID. Big reason we went to the Final Four is because the league gave it to Wichita State. We were pissed off and angry.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's a better pissed off program in the country than us.
Y'all do pissed off really well.
We were mad and angry and felt screwed in 21 when they gave it to Wichita State after they ducked smoke for 3 weeks with their scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? That put us on a burner. When we got to Fort Worth, we were on a mission. And then that fire stayed lit all the way through the bubble. The next year, after everybody threw dirt and put a period after Marcus's injury, we got angry, and we're pretty good angry. And then this year we've been how it ended with Miami played a big part in our anger. Just didn't feel like we played Cougar basketball on the biggest of stages.
Yeah.
And then to hear maybe they've missed their window, maybe they don't have no idea. They're not built to handle the grind, all that stuff. It was awesome fuel for us. And so now our challenge is to look, there's a lot of things we haven't done in March either. And we've got to be pissed off, and we've got to be angry, and we've got to be eyes narrowed, and let's get focused on continuing to knock things off that we haven't done yet.
Want to stay right there, but Deke just scored his first points on his first shot, a 3-ball.
That is good.
That guy, Galen, I know you're so in love with this. Yeah.
We played them I think 2 weeks ago, and I was like, bro, keep going. Your time is coming.
Yes.
He's been putting on monster performances the entire 2024. So it's no surprise, man.
He played open gym with our guys this summer, and I thought, damn, this is a pro. It's not like we got bad guards, but he was just doing things that, man, pros do. And so you were just keeping your fingers crossed that luck would be on his side, and he didn't get too beat down, and don't get discouraged or distracted along the way, that you don't get off the train 5 seconds before your miracle. And shout out to him, that the resiliency that dude's had, and the dark places that he's had to go through the last 24 months coming back. He's almost 24 months. He's just over 24 months from when he tore it 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow.
At the end of the day, nothing works like work.
True. Jeez.
We talked right after Iowa State, and you thought, it sucked to go up to Hilton and lose, but maybe it would be something y'all could build on.
Yeah.
It worked out that way, huh?
We didn't play very good that night in Ames, obviously. And the fact that, we all knew how hard of a venue that is, how hard of a place, had crazy respect for Hilton. And for us to have played as poorly as we played and only lose by essentially 2 points.
Yeah.
If you can have, you couldn't have had a more optimistic or more uplifting attitude about where we were at after a loss than that. For us, most teams, when they play as poorly as we played that night in that building, get boat raced. We didn't. We took a lead. were down 14-0 at one point. 3 minutes to go and change, we took a lead. I think we knew that maybe as much or maybe more so than up to that point, any other point in the year, man, we got something pretty good here. We just need to understand and have a better respect for how to win. It's not just winning is hard, but we've got the bones to do it. And there's things we needed to do better preparation-wise, mindset-wise, mentality-wise to give ourselves a better shot. And kudos to our guys for doing it.
That's Kellen Sampson. They don't give rings for being number one in the country, but they do give rings when you win your conference. And they just got their 7th ring in 5 years. That's pretty awesome. They're first in the Big 12. What's the outlook this week? Obviously, you want to go up and win it, but you feel like you've done enough to put yourself in position for the tournament, right?
I think so. I think, Simba's on. I think a big part of it is momentum is awesome when you get to March. Momentum and rhythm and timing and health. What you don't want to do is not place the heck yeah. Well, coach, what's the goal? I mean, do you need to win it? Heck yeah, we need to win it.
The lights are on, the scoreboard's on.
What are we talking about? I don't want to lose to any of them.
Yeah.
And you want to be playing your best ball. And our best ball is going to give us a chance to win it. I don't want to lose timing or lose rhythm because we're playing games that may not dampen our seed. There is no such thing as a good loss. There's no such thing as a ho-hum. Maybe this can be a good thing. We don't handle losing well around here. And so the emphasis and just go win. Go win. Go play your best. And if you get to your best and you come up short, okay, so be it. But I would much rather play 3 games, 3 days, knowing that we're humming and playing at our best and we're full of rhythm, belief, confidence, swagger, and then go into March, than have an early exit and, well, you got a chance to rest. If we lose, there ain't no resting back home.
That's a good point right there.
So like you said, they keep score. They give you a trophy. Let's keep our rhythm and our groove and our swagger going and take no back steps.
All right. They'll play Thursday at 2:00, winner of TCU and OU. TCU is the only team in the conference U of H hasn't beaten.
Yep.
It's beaten everybody else. So there you go.
Coach, we'll be ready. We're ready to play.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Coach.
See you guys.
All right.
GoCoogs.
You just got an hour with Kellen Sampson. I asked for 10 minutes, I'm going to be honest. So that worked out a little better. Star Pizza.
Star Pizza.
Just do it.
Man. Star Pizza.
While we're hanging out right here, we're just going to show you Ryan Elvin's commercial he did with him. There might be another one coming out very soon, but this is the one he did this week.
I have favorite places to eat, but only one place can be the official spot of the Ryan Elvin Fan Club, Houston's own Star Pizza. Whether we're grabbing a New York slice or a Chicago-style pizza, a salad with homemade dressing, or feasting on the Tuesday lunch buffet, my friends at Star Pizza always make me feel right at home. 3 locations in the Houston area, plenty of room in the dining rooms or the private room for your group, Plus, it's super easy to order online at starpizza.net. Don't forget to get a Cougar Red Velvet Cupcake when you place your order. Tell them Ryan Elvin sent you.
Tell them Ryan Elvin sent you.
See, that red velvet cupcake right there, man. Those things are delicious. I could have like 60 of them.
Towns.
I mean, just stack them up, baby.
Towns.
I reached my goal. My goal every show is to get Galen to go, Towns. Damn, Towns.
We talked to Starnes about joining us, but number one, we didn't need any stats from him. And two, he had a date with a lady. And so I hope he's having fun. Yeah, good for
Sunday fun day, baby.
Not the first date. He's not putting any pressure on him, but good for him. Star Pizza, 3 locations, 59 in Shepherd, the original, on Washington, out in Katy. They deliver to the Med Center. They deliver downtown. Listen, they deliver to the Med Center. They deliver to downtown. That's important. And they do it on weekends too, I believe. So why not?
Yeah.
Wine and pasta specials on Thursdays. The buffet, all you can eat on Tuesdays. Star Pizza. We have been pimping them like crazy. Number one, because Towns is fat. And number two, because we really like it. And we're probably going to go out there Tuesday and do the buffet. And I am not watching you eat 60 cupcakes. That's just not happening.
I don't think they would put that on the buffet.
Well, they're not putting that on the buffet. That I would probably have to pay for it.
That'd be like old school Western Sizzle where you just go for the pudding and the sprinkles.
I wish Galen understood what that meant. Damn, that was money.
That's beyond my years, gentlemen.
Way beyond your years.
It's a whole lot of
way
I
beyond
love my
your
years.
years.
The very little that I have left.
Very little.
Starting to feel old, man.
So after that discussion, I think we have a really good idea of why this program is what it is and why it has been consistently performing at such a high level. Because one thing I really drew from that is the depth of detail that goes into everything involved with this, and that every bit of it ties together. There's no individual parts. There's only pieces of the machine that have to go together for it to work well.
They put you in position to where you have to depend on each other. And I would say for me, there was nobody showing me the way. It was always trial and error on myself and trying to figure it out myself. And then let's say when Deke got to school, like I was there, I had went through it enough to be able to pass that to him. And then let's say when I left, Deke is in control now. He's able to show Jamal. So it's just a continuous flow of passing stuff down because we have to depend on each other. And it's just, that's how you get the best results. Whenever you're on the road or you're playing in this environment, you're playing in that environment, and it's everybody that wants to see you lose. You can only depend on each other. So it's just, it translates.
That, and then on top of that, you've still got you to be able to go back and impart that exact same wisdom on the other guys. You've got guys like Q being able to come back and do the exact same thing. So what you're talking about is going from class to class and hands-on guys, but then you guys go back and you show the end results of not only what it does for you on the court and development as a player, but also they get to see that as a person, because these lessons don't just begin and end on the court.
Yeah.
These lessons are changing your entire life and your entire outlook.
It becomes like your essence. Like it becomes who you are.
Right.
And it's just like the same habits that I had in college, I still, like, because it's who I am, I still do those things today. So it's just like it's literally a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think enough people give U of H credit for that. You're building the culture when the guys get on campus, but you're bringing the culture back nonstop. And during the summer, there can be half a dozen guys that are playing pro ball in that gym. And I mean, if you see that every day and get schooled by guys like that every day, the pride that he was talking about with Ced, which I've never heard, that was a revelation to me. Man, Kellen was money.
That's a prerequisite to play for this program.
I understand, but
you have to have a level of, like, I would say with me, I wouldn't say I was that good, honestly, but my biggest strength was my pride and just my stubbornness. Like, my pride to not let this man feel like he got the best of me, or let this man feel like he beat. Like, that was just my biggest. I couldn't live with that, and I just feel like that's what helped propel our program. And like I said, Coach, whenever you've been through the fire and you've seen what it looks like, you know how to identify it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stubborn guys in this program. Am I right on that?
So.
Yeah,
very much so.
Because
turds that float.
Can't argue with turds that float.
Floaters.
Star Pizza, where you go for quality salads and 60 red velvet cupcakes. Let's go date night.
Facts. With the Ryan? I mean, with the wine. I'm tripping.
These commercials are working. Now I want Star Pizza. Star Pizza. Here we go. What an interview. How about that? That was awesome. Amazing interview. Badass. Shout out Star Pizza. Great job, guys. I think these are cupcakes. I can't really see.
No, those are applause and like parade.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. Yeah. Star Pizza and Katie is nails. And then one other, Brad Towns, first team All-Star Pizza.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, Hall of Honor.
The 5X Town shirt in the rafters.
Exactly. You could actually take it and make it its own tent. It creates its own facility. Shout out to the Star Pizza on Washington, folks.
Star Pizza. We've got a pretty good little crowd here. I think we had 24 hours to let this win kind of marinate a little bit. If you haven't checked out Mario Puente's photo gallery on GoCoogs.com right now, you should. The photos that he got from this game, from the post game, unlike any that he's ever gotten. I mean, he's a phenomenal photographer, but you feel like you're on the court with him through these photos. And you've got to go check that out. That is
paramount for guys like yourself, Ryan.
Towns. They let me on the court. They just wouldn't. Yeah. You know what? How'd your game go today? Yeah, exactly.
Got our ass whooped.
Yeah. All right. Galen actually was on the court within 45 minutes of us setting up and getting ready to do this interview. The Kellen thing came a little late in the day. We were kind of efforting and kind of working on it. We didn't want to announce it to everybody before we knew we had him. And that is as good a content as we put out, and we put out some damn good content. Brad wrote something pretty good today. Galen, don't expect you to read it.
I read everything. I read the senior night. I did the senior night stuff and the Qantas and Hollis stuff as requested. Very good.
Okay, that's 2 pieces. We do 3 a day.
That's all that was asked from me. That's all that was asked.
He did his homework, dude.
Did my job.
You did.
I did my job.
Okay. All right. Well, here we go back to the low expectations, the Starnes route.
But
all
see,
right.
you gotta understand his mentality, and I get it. You do your job. Don't worry about somebody else's. Your job has been assigned to you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what you got to do.
And then you have guys like Jamal that are working on the Ced Lath plan every night. That was uplifting to hear.
Winner.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that he just wants to win. And I'm going to tell you something that you didn't see, you don't know about. I bet not 5 people know about this. but yesterday after the game, Ryan Elvin got the microphone when they were doing all the senior stuff. And Jamal Shead, who him and Ryan go back to middle school, I think he told us, Galen. Jamal was behind him where all the team was, came around, kind of walked in front of my camera to get on the ground and record his boy Ryan talking to that crowd, the crowd going wild. It was one of those moments that it was like, no one's going to see this, but that's the point guard right there. That's the guy that is there for every one of these teammates. And
Are you okay?
if I remember, we all went out on my screen. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
What's the record for viewers? It's at 561 at this second. I think we got to about 800 for OU. I don't remember that number, but it was a big number live. The number overall is in the thousands now, not the 12 that we had during football season. We did not talk about this yesterday. How did we miss this? What are your expectations for Galen and the TBT guys?
You know what's crazy?
This summer.
I seen Kyler today. We played against him, and we was like, he was like, we're locked in. Like it's me and Rob have been met. Like Rob has not like. That's the one thing about Rob. He's kind of orchestrating this whole thing, and whenever he's excited about something, he's like a kid in a candy. He can't stop talking about it. So he just been blowing up my phone, just talking about the TV, and I'm just like, bro, this is actually the first time I've ever been like this excited to like hoop again. Like we're locked in. We're locked in.
Who's all part of the team?
It's Rob, myself. I think Dada's getting surgery, so it's Kyler, Wes, Monty, maybe. I think Tajay, if I'm not mistaken, and then we got Dev. Fabe, Tayshawn Thomas, who back in the day, and a couple of other guys who didn't go to our school, but we felt like Bryson, and then one other guy who didn't go to U of H, but because Big Josh is getting like surgery, so we had to get somebody to fill in for him. So I'm
available.
We're trying to win, Ryan.
Yeah, but that's true.
I couldn't be. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get that going. Like I really believe in our group, and I believe in our system, and I know it translates to all levels. So it's like, yeah, we're excited about that for sure.
I was convinced yesterday that we need to cover this like it's a U of H event. So we're gonna cover this thing this summer. We're gonna have you and the other guys helping and breaking it down. And I know this is for fun, but y'all aren't treating it like that, right?
No, it's money on the line.
Money on the line.
Need that.
Need money on the line.
Yeah.
Some woman can't pronounce the last name. Says great show. Kellen was stellar. Some of these names are breaking news. I had not heard a couple of those guys. So you either let the cat out of the bag or you just gave us some really good info. Appreciate it. Can you convince McLean to choose to coach y'all over pushing for the Olympics? I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it means something.
He coaches the Bahamas.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Kel's going to be a great coach, great head coach one day.
Yeah.
So Ron, we got how much longer we got, man? I got a beautiful lady waiting on me.
Okay. Well, how about you check out and we'll finish it up without you. Galen,
right, man,
the Godfather,
easy,
appreciate
man.
you coming to do this. We asked Galen to do this
Absolutely.
like 13 seconds before he started. So.
I can't lie, and I was like, bro, I'm so sour.
Oh, I saw the text. I saw the text.
But it was like, you know what? Not every day you can celebrate, our team, winning the Big 12. So shit, why not? But appreciate y'all for having me. GoCoogs.
Thanks, Galen.
Star Pizza.
Good one, buddy.
Fuck with y'all.
Star Pizza.
Have a good one.
We've had a little bit of a day here. That's been fun.
It after seeing how Ced has come on in the last, I guess two out of 3 of extended minutes, it all makes sense after hearing how he's developed off the court, on the court, and leading up to this moment. Now it all makes sense. Now it doesn't feel like, oh, he's come out of nowhere. No, he's just now getting extended minutes.
Right. Well, he did say that, you depend on somebody and they have to show up. Yeah. And he did that. And obviously Jamal is doing the work with him. I've been seeing him in practice all year. And I felt that, there was a timidness. But hearing about that confidence and that need to win, and man, you love to hear that. And I think he has done as much as you could possibly ask for. Let's go, Galen. Get it. That kid is something else. I assume we're talking about Galen, but maybe we're not. There you go. Just one, apparently. And then there were two. I'm looking at some of the questions you had for Kellen we never got to.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly fine with that.
Me too.
Because I thought this went really well. Star Pizza has Chicago and New York style pizza. I'm going to New York in May. I'm going to Chicago in June. I think I like the New York better. I think it's just more for me. I don't know about that Chicago style.
Well, it's those two. Pizza's pizza to me, and they are different, obviously. But it's Chicago pizza is just more difficult to eat. You got to sit down and just ready to, different experience. The New York style, you just fold it up, eat it, stick it in your shirt pocket, walk and go do whatever you want to do. Pick it up, eat it again,
Pick it up, eat it again. Man, Jamal Shead, player of the year, defensive player of the year, first team all conference. There's no way to convince me he should not be a first team All American. And if that happens, retire.
I don't expect a lot of national.
As a U-based person, you can't expect that, right?
Well, as somebody that doesn't live in the Northeast or in the Big Ten, you know the landscape. It's the East Coast media for the most part, and then a lot more focus on the Big Ten. And then, of course, you go back to the old staples of the ACC, and you just see
Big East.
You see two teams in the ACC, and the rest of them are just kind of corpses.
Imagine Big 12 teams getting to go play some of those half-assed teams in the ACC. And they've been doing it for 30 years. It's not like it's just started. There have been 8 teams in that league that have been.
And that's the one thing that I see it on the internet talking about, Houston's never played anybody. It's like, are you kidding me? We stomped a mud hole in UVA. What are you talking about? We whipped their ass. We whipped their ass here. We whipped their ass there. It's like we're playing everybody we can. And the number one reason why we've had issues, or a big part of why our non-conference schedule is what it is because we slap motherfuckers around enough, we don't get invited back. They don't want another L. It doesn't matter where we play them. We could play them in freaking Maui. We could play them at their mom's house. And they definitely don't want to do that because they don't want to get beat up in front of their mother.
What is happening? You just hit another level of rage. Did you get some of those cupcakes? When you see me
looking this direction, I'm probably looking at internet talk and partially on Reddit. So, it can get you a little excited.
National guys are on him. I think they're coming late, but they are coming. Jamal had a hell of a schedule this week in interviews and sitting down with stuff. Used to, it was just us. It was like, okay, talk to me. Okay, that's it. Oh, never mind. I got to go to Sports Center. Oh, okay, all right.
He got that
Jim Rome.
Yeah, he got that lead in SVP hide.
That's big. And he looks so smooth in that too. He didn't look
yeah.
like a kid that was doing this the first time. I mean, that's a different stage.
He doesn't look like the dude that was sitting there with you last year and
No.
doing that interview with Galen last year.
I thought he had been playing with Galen and knew Galen, but I thought there was still a little bit of awe in him then. That does not exist now. That is not where he is at now. Yeah. This is my kind of podcast. No, I think now is what we mean, not no, but yeah.
Yep.
Let's do this all week. That's a great idea. Townsend and I are just going to do this show every night and just see what coach we can get to come on.
I mean, if y'all want to sit here and we'll talk a little shit, then why not?
And we're right at 600 people watching, which is
Connor. No, this silver, I earned every bit of it, and I'm keeping it. I'm not going to paint nothing. I
should get a goatee because the only hair that's dark is right there, and then it gets really white here, and then woo, that's all white.
I'm just glad that you can get a little bit up here, because if not, you would be full Amish, dude. Get you one of them little flat hats.
What do you mean Amish? Okay, now you fucking asshole. Because I'm growing it out a little bit.
It'd be the Amish chin strap, dude.
And how do you have like totally black eyebrows? Are you coloring those?
No,
I don't know. A little Sharpie?
No, I don't know why. I mean, they've got hints of silver, but
I wish there was a way I could make this comment full screen. I cannot.
Sean, you have more media presence than our last football coach.
So this weekend, Willie threw out the first pitch at baseball. I believe he threw out the first pitch at softball. He did Who's House at the football or basketball game. He coached spring practice on Friday. He had a ton of recruits in this weekend. Dana would call that a good quarter. And Willie did it all in one weekend.
If you get me going, then I'll.
We don't need to.
I'll spend all day talking about it, and I don't want to. I actually want to not talk about him anymore. I mean,
I think that's a good plan.
It's the X that's done us a favor, because the best thing about having Willie in, and me not being around him, Ryan gets to do all that, but I get to still look at him from afar. So I'm not influenced by his personality on a day-to-day basis. But everything that he says and everything that he's doing is scarily everything that I want a coach to do. Like we've sat there and we've talked on our podcast many times in the past of what we think that a coach needs to bring to the table for U of H to achieve what it needs to achieve. And of course, a lot of it's going to be built on the model of what Kelvin's done. But Willie is doing all of that and more. I mean, he's doing even. I never even thought to ask of a coach that, hey, why don't you have open spring practice for all media and let them come out and do that.
Dare them to come out.
I didn't know that was ever even an option, ever. I mean, I know that I guess back in the day, Kevin Sumlin. Oh God, that's a bad combination. Sorry, Coach. Sorry, Coach.
Go ahead. This is going well.
He had a couple of open practices.
Yeah.
Each year he'd have a couple open practice. But Willie's basically saying, hey guys, free for all, man. Come out, please come out. Come out and film. Come out and be here.
And my thoughts about the program are very aligned with yours, but I'm getting it from a different view. And I have to keep constantly asking myself, am I being drawn in too much? Like, is it too much access? Am I getting too close to where I can't see that there's some massive problem, right? And it's the same way with basketball. Is I constantly am asking myself, do I have too much excess? Am I able to see clearly the problems? And well, it turns out there's not really that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're number one in the country. They just won the conference. They're 28-3. They're going to be a 1 seed. I mean, it's hard to nitpick. We're going to do that, though, this week. We are doing our first ever self-scout on the website. Jamie's working on it right now. And we're going to see. I asked him, I challenged him yesterday. Show me how U of H can get beat. Show me where U of H fans need to be looking just to make sure that everything works out. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks. I haven't seen it, but it's coming.
Right.
But I worry about, like, I think he's doing everything right. Talking about Willie, it makes me nervous. Like, what am I missing? You know, but It's really early, and you're nowhere also, close to playing a game.
We're also a little bit jaded of, okay, what's really going on? We've been through this. We went through this I went through this the exact same way with Tom Herman. So it's like, okay, we're keeping an eye of when you're going to get the knife stuck in your ribs or the rug pulled at some point. Am I missing some obvious signs of things about to go bad at some point? But I think I've learned that lesson in watching what Willie's doing. It's too genuine. It's not polished and it's not rehearsed enough to be an act, at least as we sit here today, March 10th, 2024.
It would be easy for a coach to come in and say, okay, I need to buddy up to Tank Dell. I need to buddy up to Case Keenum. Those are no shit kind of things, right? Mm-hmm. But he is going at every single former player that I can see. He's talking to everybody. Yesterday, I sat and watched him and David Klingler just shoot the bull for 15 minutes. And obviously David's one of those guys, but he's 30 years down the road. But he still valued his input. And, I see former players at practice, and Willie, as soon as he sees them, he runs over and shakes their hand and talks to them and gives them time. It's not the flyby that you got previously. And I think that's what you said about Dana is a really good idea. It needs to be something really big for us to bring him up again. It's time to turn that page. And I think there's going to be some comparison things here and there, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to get sucked into it, and I'm going to have to take an active, I guess I'm going to have to actively seek to not talk about it because, I think there's too many positive things going forward. Check some of the what-you-call-its. The what-you-call-its.
The chats.
Okay, well, here's one.
That's not what she said.
It was actually, talk about, here's one. When the Natty Town dyes his goatee red, I think that's fair.
No.
No post-game Frenchies today. Mom made ribs, brought a bunch home. That's where I'm going. Baked beans.
Cookie cake? Cookie cake?
Yeah.
Did you get 2 of them?
No.
I only asked that because you could take the cookie cake and put them on top of each other and make a cookie cake sandwich. So
yeah, they have there's technology now that makes that happen already.
No, you got to do it yourself.
Okay. One of my nieces was sick, and so she didn't eat any cookie cake, and so
you got her.
I get Moore's. Yeah, so happy about that. But glad Galen's not here to hear that one. I should write it so he never sees it.
You screenshot it?
Yeah. going to be a multi-year project. This is the part that fans have to understand. This is not flip a switch. Greg Ward ain't walking back on that campus. The talent around Greg Ward, you're just not there. And that's okay. They're going to come. I think this guy's going to recruit, and it's just going to be different.
I hate to be the
No, you don't.
No, I hate to be the positive guy.
Oh, well, then we can just mute you. That's fine.
We know now, or we learned after 2015 that, oh my God, look how much talent we have. You didn't know that. You didn't know that when Tom Herman came on campus. When there was a change in coaches, we were all afraid that we've got Greg Ward. He finally got his shot. But before that, I mean, Landon Roberts didn't smell the field. And he turns out to be one of the best players you had. So the narrative before Tom got here was cupboards bare, recruiting has been terrible. And then after Tom left, all of a sudden it's like, oh, he had all this talent right on his plate. No, he didn't. He had skilled players that needed development, and his staff got the most out of those players. I think what you're going to find here is a similar deal. I don't expect the same results because that 1 year was an anomaly.
And it's not the same competition.
It's not the AAC. Although I will give credit to the AAC, that year, it's a pretty damn good conference.
It was good. I don't know if it's as deep as what you're going to see this year. Maybe not top line.
Well, it's completely different. It's completely different athletes, completely different profile of players.
Yeah, I agree. Willie seems like he's a historian. That's probably true. Do you guys broadcast from restaurants in town? Check us out in September. You're going to start seeing it. You're going to start seeing some different events. Meet Towns Day is going to happen. Everybody's going to come up and try to shake you and see what prizes come out.
Be careful.
Yeah. Ja'Cory Watson was getting a lot of love yesterday.
Good.
I was surprised that students understood how good a player he is. This class coming up in Houston is deep. This is the perfect time to have a new, invigorated coach and staff working for you, because this class is deep. And that's the end of recruiting talk. Anyways, what were you going to say?
I would just say the best thing about a deep class with so much talent on board is you're going to be able to uncover some guys that are really, really good and very undervalued.
Overlooked, yeah. And potentially, there's only so many so many guys that are going to go outward. There's going to be guys that want to stay home. And there's going to be less opportunities perhaps at other programs. I think you're going to do pretty well. It's not just going to be running backs and receivers like it feels like it's been for a little while. How much do you think the atmosphere helped with football recruiting? I'm going to tell you, it helped with basketball recruiting. You had about 10 guys in that saw an atmosphere that was electric. And then they got to go out of the arena into a city, not Manhattan or Lawrence, Kansas, or wherever, Waco.
No offense. No offense.
No offense. No offense.
Because, we're definitely fans of college towns.
I love college towns. Man, I love college towns. But I think it did help. You had all the football coaches there. Everybody, that whole section, they put the recruits right below where we sit. And so get to watch them all game. Chase McCarty was down there. A bunch of unofficial football guys were down there. Everybody was having a blast. They were on their feet nonstop. Patrick Paul came up and everybody kind of ran to him. it was not the atmosphere that it had been in recruiting, where it felt like a golf crowd. This was not that with the football guys. And it was also, I mean, Kellen said it, and we said it last night and today. This crowd, this environment was the best on that campus, maybe in 40 years.
Right.
Like the OU football game in 2016 at NRG was electric.
Mm-hmm.
But on this campus, you haven't seen anything like that. Certainly since I've been around.
Yeah. And how that the atmosphere for how it affects football, it all depends on how it's being sold. Now, if you've got a coach and a group of recruiters are saying, "Hey, let's go to the basketball game. It's good entertainment. It'll be fun." Probably it's not a big deal. But if you've got a group of coaches that are going in there saying, "This is what it can be, and you're key to making this happen," and also go watch GoCoogs.com podcast and see The Godfather, and you could be the Godfather.
I don't have any problem giving that nickname away. But you gotta do something pretty good. And
you gotta be the mayor. You gotta be the mayor of Sac Ave.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna see the mayor of Sac Ave, or the CEO of Sac Ave, actually, here with us in the fall, doing some things with us. So pretty excited about that. Can we just stop and appreciate that freaking Gaylen Robinson comes and does this with us for 2 hours twice a week?
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? How do goofy little weirdos like us, well, like me, get somebody like him? It's weird. Develop a relationship, you know? Mm-hmm. I didn't know the guy 2 years ago. And I mean, he kind of knew who I was. I knew him from playing, but I didn't know him. And now it's like, he's all right.
Well, I think it's also a testament of the connection that he has with the University of Houston.
Yeah.
He
wants to be so involved.
Yeah. And I really do believe that a lot of guys feel the exact same way. And I've seen it over the years that guys, they like to be wanted.
Yeah.
And you have to retain them, you have to actively engage and recruit them and get them to come back and make them welcome. Because when you separate from athletics into, the real world, it's a big change, man. It's a huge, especially if you're a known player and, kind of that notoriety slips away and you kind of slip into just become part of society. Just be another guy.
Yeah.
You really gotta really go and welcome and keep the door open, and not so much as, hey, it's here if you want it, but hey, why don't you come back? Why don't you come do this? And I don't know. I think
that's something that a lot of fans don't understand, is that when you step off the stage, how it creates depression and like a lack of meaning in your lives.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So many players I've talked with, hundreds, that have just been like, I built my whole personality around being that guy on that stage.
And I think you nailed it right there, because that is who you are. Like when my days were done,
you were like Brad Towns, baseball player.
Exactly. And that was my whole life, my entire life. So it took a while to adjust to that, and you learn, because your entire world is centered around that. Everything that you're doing during season is your sport. Everything that you're doing in the off season is your sport, plus the other sport that you might be playing. Your entire identity, everywhere you go, your friends introduce you as, hey, this is Brad, the baseball player.
Yeah.
This is Galen, the basketball player.
This is Ryan, the golfer. Yeah.
It's like that until it's not. And when it's not, it's like, whoa, okay, so what do I do? Who am I? You know, everybody asks that question of themselves all throughout their life, especially in college years and stuff like that. And you should go into your field of choice or field of opportunity that's presented itself. But it's even more so from an athlete perspective, especially guys who have reached some level of notoriety.
Yesterday, after the game, seeing every
Sean, you
single
nailed
player.
Sean, you nailed it.
Okay. All right. Seeing the guys yesterday being pulled in every single direction all day after the game. Come take a picture. Come do this. Former player is here. Former whatever is there. Here's a recruit. And everybody in this program is a recruiter. They all work on recruiting.
Right.
And they all sell out in recruiting. I mean, the story that Kellen told about Galen with JBR, that he had to go and I don't know the rest of that story, but I'm going to find out because that sounds pretty interesting. But everybody's pulling these guys in different directions. And it seems overwhelming. Like, how can you keep your composure and allow yourself to be pulled in all those directions all the time? It wasn't just that day. It's nonstop with NIL and with media stuff and with everything else. And at some point that goes away and people stop pulling you. And it's just, oh, hey, you know? And
then the worst part is that you're left with making choices for yourself.
Yeah.
And that could be dangerous.
That could be so dangerous. Undervalued is that idea that the guys, like in this program, take for instance, every decision is made for them off the court. Like, you have a schedule. I do this. I do group here. I do individual workout there. I work out there. I have sleep pod time here. We eat at this time. I mean, everything is regimented. And then when you step out of that, you have to have built enough in your life that, like, pro players, they don't have that. It's kind of, you do your thing.
That's why you see a lot of them go off the rails.
Yeah.
Early.
So that wasn't a basketball game last night. That was a party. Yeah.
It was like
the
Coliseum. It was a party with death involved.
We're going back to that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Most attention to detail we've ever had. Grandpa Elvin and Jamal. Yeah, that was next level. I was so impressed that U of H, somebody thought of that and then they made it happen. There's a lot of good ideas out there, but U of H is not very good at making good ideas happen. That was a great freaking idea. And you see it with the videos that are coming out. Luke Butler's doing that. And man, I have just been so impressed with everything they've been doing. I haven't seen Corey Davis back in a while. Wonder what he's up to. He's playing. I think he's playing overseas. And if you're playing overseas, you just can't get back during basketball season.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's anything more than that. Do you know a schedule for official visit looks like, and what's the host responsibilities and how they pick the host? You pick a host somewhat based on position. Sometimes it's you're both from the same area or you grew up playing against each other or know each other. The schedule, I think that's a good question, and that's something maybe we should kind of dig into of exactly what the schedule is.
Good idea. I like that.
We've seen it. We've seen some things. There was a kid a year or two ago that came on an official visit with his girlfriend, and they I don't want to say live streamed it, but they had videos from because they were
it's like they did it like a travel vlog.
Yeah, and very cool. I think he went to Louisville like right after that, and so comparing it
Sorry.
from one to the other. Yeah, well, there's a little more winning in one of those programs than the other. I'll let you know how that goes.
Well,
But
didn't he sign under a different coach too?
I don't know. After seeing the video thing, I never paid attention.
Not the Payne train wreck.
Yeah, but I do know that there is a lot of FaceTime with coaches and players, and even the guys. Flemings was sitting underneath the basket, and several coaches came up, players came up. He was not getting ignored. He got his attention, and it would be hard to say what it's like versus other places, but I think it's getting a lot better. They're getting the guys they want. Mercy
really
Miller's the perfect example of that. What now?
I think it was really cool to get insight on kind of how they go about the recruiting process and what they're looking for. So if anybody here with young ones, coaches watch everything you do. I was told when I was playing, and my dad hammered it on me because he heard it from scouts, and they say they pay more attention to what you do during warm-ups than what you do during the game, because they already know what you can do in the game. But they want to see you prepare. They want to see the little bitty small things. Are you, out there goofing off, or you getting dialed in?
The story he told about going and seeing Jamal in the morning at a workout and then seeing another guy in Dallas the same day. Kelvin hammers it into point guards' heads that there's three guys that can't have a bad day: the head coach, the point guard, and the best player. And the story that he told is exactly that. If you're looking for a point guard and one is at 6:30 in the morning, and Jamal did not live in Manor, he had to drive a little bit to get to Manor.
Right.
And so if you're there at 6:30 in the morning and have a smile on your face and pumped for a workout versus a guy that's blaming everybody else and throwing a pity party, well, there's your bad day. That kind of took care of itself. And so that was fascinating to hear. And I've never heard that story. I talked to Kelvin as much as I possibly can. I have a scale of when am I just a pain in the ass, and I try to stay just a little bit below that, so I don't just bother him every single day that I'm there. But I mean, he's great to talk to, and you saw it for an hour, and that was pretty cool.
It makes me feel good for the future of the program.
100%. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to talk about baseball right now. I told people that I didn't know about Kellen. I was unsure because I hadn't seen him up close.
But when was that?
This was years ago.
Yeah.
And then when they went to the Final Four, I was like, well, okay, this is the natural progression. And at that time, around the Final Four is when I really started to talk to him and get to know him just a littlest bit and see how his mind works. And there's a lot going on there, and it's deep and thoughtful. He's not a soundbite guy, right? You're going to get a full-on explanation, which is way better. And I don't think I've ever gotten a bad answer out of it. And he is responsible for recruiting. Like, that's his baby.
You might not get the answer you want, but you're going to get the answer
fine.
you deserve.
I don't want an answer. I want to ask you a very broad question and let you talk. Right. That's my whole philosophy. And I don't want to have you answer a question I need for an article. I want you to talk, and I can build something from that.
Right.
That's not how everybody works. So he gives you so much. And seeing him and talking to him about recruiting and about what's going on there, and he's the one that kind of picked Jamal. And I mean, Jamal was a good 3-star recruit, but he was not 4 or 5-star guys. I mean, he was I don't want to say overlooked, but he also has been developed, and that is the part that probably Kellen is the best at, is that development. The guards swear by Quantis, swear by him, but Kellen leads the development piece.
Right. It was cool to get. No, it was cool to get an opportunity to kind of.
I just gonna leave this pizza right there. Just go up and try to eat that. Let's see how it goes. Star pizza. You're going for the star. Yeah. Wrong one. I don't know why that's so funny.
I guess I need to invert my camera so I know where I'm going. I think we were able to really get a good look at what they do, why they do it from their eyes. What they that's the thing that I'm always interested in as a fan is I want to know how they see the world, because it's so different to perform at that level. It's so different that you want to learn how they do what they do. The why. We all know the why. You want to get the win. You want to be successful, whatever. But the how you do it, and really when it comes down to it, all these successful guys have the core philosophies all running the same line. They all do the core things very, very similar. Now the details are tweaked a little bit to fit their individual character strengths, what they're best at. There's going to be things that Kellen will do different than Kelvin, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, they are in alignment in the core of what they do. So it's fascinating to me to see kind of from their perspective and see the world through their eyes. And that's what I really was excited to hear and very happy to be able to kind of go through that process today.
Yeah. There's also the matter of want to. And there is a need, that whole family, and this is something that they have told me and I have seen on my own. They are constantly looking for ways to feel marginalized, to feel like somebody's disrespecting them. And it's Kelvin, it's Kellen, and it's Lauren. And they're all really good at it. They're really good at finding that spot where somebody disrespects me and then attacking it.
Oh,
and
then hey man,
I respect the hell out of that.
I can help them out because I'm on the internet and
I'm on the internet. Thank you, Brad.
Well, no, I mean, if you want to find disrespect on U of H, it ain't hard to find. I mean, it ain't hard to miss. Pretty easy.
I don't think they have to go manufacture it. I think they get it easily done for them. I was told by a staffer 2 weeks ago or so about dealing with Auburn in Birmingham last year, and how basically everybody in-house in the arena was treating Auburn as the home team. And U of H was like, 1 seed, not doing this. We're not giving an inch on anything.
See,
and
if
it was the perfect thing for them to feel disrespected. And
if I would have wrote my article later today after this conversation, then I could have easily said, the welcome to Houston narratives that were welcome to the Big 12 narratives was what fueled the rest of the season.
Maybe. I think
because I mean, if you're looking for that spite, that little extra kick, I think that would definitely do it right there. I know it was wearing on a lot of our fans.
Yeah, but I'm going to say these people live this every day. Like, I work every day.
LeBradford
But
Smiths.
yeah, I thought that was kind of.
And I took that personal.
Yeah. I think we've done enough. That's 2 hours. I don't know how the hell we did it. 682 people watching right now.
Yeah. I appreciate all
We
you guys.
appreciate the crowd. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTubes or the face page or the wherever you're at.
Oh, and I want to go back to Ryan K.
Okay, go for it.
Great start.
Yes.
Keep it up. It doesn't get any easier.
No,
but
it really doesn't.
Well, I mean, Baylor's about the worst in the conference right now.
Yeah,
but
well,
you know what? That's exactly what you need going into a much more difficult. You need that confidence. And baseball, as much, if not more than any other sport, thrives on confidence. Because if you have confidence, you can really, I'll say this, if you don't have it, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you do. So they definitely needed that boost, and it needs to carry over and keep winning.
It started last Sunday in the late game at Minute Maid. You got to win. You got to walk off midweek, and then you sweep. I mean, as of Saturday, it was looking like it was about to go in the toilet a week ago Saturday. You'd lost to, I think, St. John's in the third game. You lost the midweek to UTSA maybe, and then got beat by Texas State, sorry, and then Vanderbilt, and you win the last game. Maybe it was Texas State you won on Sunday. I don't know.
Bring back Southwest Texas State and USL.
I'm a proponent of USL. NLU means more to me.
Who?
Northeast Louisiana, ULM.
Oh, the Dragons.
They were the Indians. Now they're the Warhawks.
Oh,
you played. Yeah, I don't think that's the sound it makes.
I don't know.
Yeah, obviously. So, all right, that's going to be it
Ryan,
for us.
Thanks for asking. I don't know any details because honestly, I've been so focused on basketball and putting together that article yesterday and doing film work with Jamie, and it's just all consuming. It's good stuff. It's nice to have. I'm gonna go against what I asked us not to do.
Yeah, starting already.
But during football season, I dreaded doing this effing podcast. I hated the thought of having to come and figure out
have the same conversation every week.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated doing prep for it. I hated editing it. I hated every bit of it. But with basketball coming, in basketball, the way it's played out, basketball could have a down year. I don't know what that looks like, but it could have a down year and I'll still enjoy it because I know we are maximizing everything.
And the guys are getting better. And there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You're the number one team in the nation. You just won the conference. You're going to be a 1 seed. And there's still development to look forward to this season.
Yeah. And
that's what's exciting about this. You're never at the end of the road in development.
No.
And there's a lot of banged up bodies, but they're still out there doing the work. And it's fun to watch.
I don't mind. I'm not one who demands specific results, but what I do demand from a fan standpoint and being, from a program expectations, I demand that you get the most out of what you have. If you don't have enough talent, you know what, so be it. Especially if especially when you're a newer part of a program. But But as you move forward, I expect to see you improve just like your players improve. But if you can get the most out of the talent that you have, that's really all I can ask, because that's all you can do during the season. The team you have is the team you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then go and get better.
But
it makes it a lot more, it makes it fun to be able to cover, and it makes it fulfilling as a fan. To know that you're seeing guys reach whatever potential they have, whether high, low, whatever. That's the fun part for me.
Star Pizza. I don't know why you haven't ordered yet. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, well,
Star Pizza, 3 locations: deep dish, the New York, the Chicago. They'll do an onion-only pizza for you if that's your thing. That's my jam.
You can get anything on it. You can get anything on it, dude.
I'm going to have them put that on the buffet for Tuesday. We're going to go and eat, and it's just going to be onion-only pizza, and no one is going to touch it. It's just going to be mine. Cedric, do the Monster Mash. Ryan, we need a GoCoogs event in Dallas the second weekend. You're not to the second weekend. You got a lot of basketball between now and then. Kellen just told you they're going out to win this tournament.
Connor, be where your feet are.
I don't know. Be where your feet are, Connor. I don't know how much I'm putting into that talk about the conference tournament. Okay. I get it. I get it. Yeah, we'll see. They're going to go Wednesday, play Thursday. There was talk about them going a day early, but Kelvin squashed that and said, "We're staying on our schedule." We've won a lot of road games.
Never change your routine. Never.
You have to change it for the NCAA tournament. It's just the way it is.
Well,
but
I mean,
you have one more week to keep it on that routine. But you are potentially playing 3 games in a row. The Big 12 is really kind of on how they treat media at this thing. Apparently, never been. We were in Kansas City for Sweet 16, not for this. We were on the floor. I was sitting across from the U of H bench. This week, I get 1 game on the floor, and I think it's Friday. And then I think Starnes gets Thursday. And then otherwise, we're going to be like the Baylor camera view at the top of the arena. So
are you going to rappel down for the post game? That'd be awesome.
I might try that. I might
what was it? The Ultimate Warrior coming down from the rafters at was it WrestleMania when he was?
It was WrestleMania.
Flying down there?
Yeah, I don't remember. I never liked that guy.
Woo!
Never a fan. I don't. That's somebody else. Yeah. Okay. So there it is. Star Pizza. We're going to play the Ryan Elvin video again because I think it's pretty good. It's fun. He gets a lot of information on the video in a little bit of time. So check Ryan Elvin out. 701 people in the room right now.
I have favorite places to eat, but only one place can be the official spot of the Ryan Elvin Fan Club. Houston's own Star Pizza. Whether we're grabbing a New York slice or a Chicago-style pizza, a salad with homemade dressing, or feasting on the Tuesday lunch buffet, my friends at Star Pizza always make me feel right at home. 3 locations in the Houston area, plenty of room in the dining rooms or the private room for your group. Plus, it's super easy to order online at starpizza.net. Don't forget to get a Cougar Red Velvet cupcake when you place your order. Tell them Ryan Elvin sent you.
I'm going to try to wrangle one of those shirts out of them. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
GoCoogs.com. Content's never ending. I mean, who would have thought you getting this? And this ended up being a pretty good evening. Taking you to the work week.
Thank everybody for spending your Sunday evenings with.
You really did. You didn't have to do that. But here we were. So thank you very much. We're going to end it on that 2:09:45. Damn near two. This is basically what we did after the game yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you, Kellen. Thank you, Galen. I really did not. I got a text as we just went live, and Galen was like, nah, we just had a horrible loss. They lost by a point. Nah, we're not doing that. And as soon as I finished reading the text, he was on the screen and was like, okay, that was the quickest getting over something ever in the history of the world. So thank you, Galen. Appreciate it. He is money. Kellen was money. Y'all are so much fun. We appreciate y'all. I almost don't want to end this. We're now at 7:11 on the views right now, and there's 7:12. I don't know where y'all are coming from, but thank you. You can go and watch the whole thing again immediately on YouTube as soon as this ends, and it's ending right now.